The rain was falling so heavily that it almost blurred the whole street. The small houses on the hillside were soaked. Their tin roofs were making loud clattering sounds with every step. You were standing there shivering with the cold, your old shoes were soaking through, and you were holding two heavy grocery bags in your hands. You looked up the dimly lit door and whispered, your voice was trembling. Dad, please open the door. It is raining heavily, Dad. Your knuckles knocked softly at first, then harder, but there was no answer. It's been 15 minutes since you were knocking at the door of your small house, but no one was opening the door. Well, it was not new, it was the daily occurrence. You pressed your forehead against the door and closed your eyes, feeling completely exhausted. After a while, finally, the door opened. You quickly returned, seeing your mother. She was wearing a new bright pink sweater and thick gold bangles on her wrist. It was something you had never seen her wear before. Usually, she looked tired and angry, but today she was smiling, actually smiling. That was contrary to her nature. Ever since she came in this house as your dad's second wife, you never saw her smiling, but now seeing her smiling brightly made you frown. She looked at you and said, Oh, Vayania, come in, dear. She said in a cheerful voice. You blinked confused but quickly nodded, followed her inside. You quietly removed your wet coat and hung it on the rack. Taking off your boots, you wore your casual slippers and walked behind her to the living room. But the moment you stepped in the living room, your eyes widened. The small living room, which always looked dull and empty, was glowing. There was a table covered with sweets and fruits. You saw your father, who was sitting on the sofa while wearing his old suit, but you noticed the brand new gold watch in his hand. On the table, you saw necklaces, earrings, bangles, even a few diamond rings. What is this? You asked. Your stepmother walked past you, smiling from ear to ear. She grabbed a large sweet box and handed it to your father. Look, dear, our wine is here, she said sweetly. Your father looked up at you with teary eyes, but they were not tears of sadness, they were tears of happiness. He stood up, chuckling, and walked towards you. Your eyebrows furrowed as you looked at him with questioning eyes. He opened the sweet box and held out a small piece towards your mouth. Open your mouth, dear. Dad, what are you doing? What is happening? Oh dear, don't ask questions, just open your mouth. It is a happy day. You hesitated but slowly opened your mouth. No, tell me, Dad, what is going on? Why there is so much gold and sweets in our house? Your dad chuckled and said, Actually, dear, we fixed your marriage. Your jaw dropped hearing that. You gave him a disbelieving look. What, Dad? What are you even saying? Don't be so surprised, dear. You are getting married to a wealthy family. Finally, something good has happened to our family. Your eyes filled with tears. Marriage? No, Dad, you can't do this to me. You promised me that you will let me complete my studies, you said while crying. Your stepmom rolled her eyes and then leaning forward, she faked a bright smile and said, Dear, if you spend your whole life, you won't be able to give your dad a better lifestyle. So we want you to marry. His name is Jungkook. Ah, he's such a nice boy. His family is really rich, very rich. And the best part, they offered a big money. We will finally pay off our debts. You better say quiet and how you guys can say that. Ryan, don't talk to your mom in this tone. You will live a comfortable life now. No more struggling, no more hunger. He will give you everything expensive dresses, branded bags, latest shoes, diamond jewelry, like everything. You shook your head slowly. No, I need nothing. Yes, the mother leaned closer to you with a big fake smile. You will thank us later, dear. His family is good. You quickly looked at your father, who quickly looked away, coughing dramatically to avoid the eye contact with you. His family says he is a really nice man. You stared at them stunned. Your stepmom glared at you. Enough, don't speak like that. You are lucky, Vian. You will have a roof, servants' money. Look at yourself. Do you think any normal family would want you? You are just a poor girl with nothing. Her words cut like knives. You bit your lower lip, trying not to cry. The wedding will be next week. Tears streamed down your eyes, but your parents never mind. Your dad held your hand. As they left, you threw yourself on the sofa and started crying loudly, but no one was there to wipe your never ending tears. After a week, the bells were echoing softly, white flowers were lined the aisle. Their petals were glistening under the chandeliers. You were standing at the top of the long staircase leading to the altar. Your hands were trembling in your father's grip. The satin gown felt heavy. Every step you took made the pearls stitched along the hem tremble like raindrops. Your father leaned closer to you and whispered, "Dear, smile. Don't make a scene here." You didn't answer. You were barely hearing him now. Everything felt distant. So many thoughts were swirling in your mind, but there was no answer. When you finally reached the front, your father gently placed your hand into Jungkook's. You looked up for the first time. Your eyes fell on your soon to be husband. He was dressed in a perfectly tailored white suit. His hair was styled neatly. He was beautiful. But the moment your eyes met his, he began to giggle softly and started clapping his hands like a child. Everyone gasped looking at you. Your eyes became watery and your hands were trembling on the hem of the gown. The guests looked at each other and began whispering. Your father forced a smile for the crowd, pretending everything was fine. The priest leaned forward and clearing his throat awkwardly, he began the vows. You tried to focus on his words, but your heart was racing for all the wrong reasons. Do you why and take Jungkook? You raised your head up and once again looked at Jungkook, who was giggling like crazy. Every now and then he would hum a tune under his breath, completely unaware of the weight. Somehow the ceremony ended. People clapped politely through whispers. Jungkook saw the people clapping. He laughed and began to clap along with them as though he didn't understand that the applause was not for a show but for his own wedding. A while, the ride to Jeon mansion was quiet except for Jungkook's humming. You kept staring out the car window through your tear-stained eyes, but he was carefree. It seemed like he was in his own world. When the car stopped, you stepped out carefully, holding your heavy gown. Jungkook also got down after you. Jumping excitedly, he walked over to you and stood right in front of you. You blinked at him, but then a low gasp left your mouth when he grabbed your hand and started dragging you towards the door. "Hey, what are you doing? Wait, my gown is heavy." But he didn't seem to notice. He was too excited like a child. As he stepped inside the beautiful mansion while dragging you behind him, the maids who were standing at the doorway looked at both of you and bowed slightly. Before you could bow at them back, Jungkook started dragging you upstairs. Finally, Jungkook stopped in front of a large white door, pushing it open dramatically. Eventually left your hand. "This is your room." You blinked. The room was huge and beautiful. Jungkook saw you glancing around the room. He laughed and jumped on the bed. "How is this room?" "So I was excited to show you. Don't worry," he said, clapping excitedly. You looked at him with a sigh left your mouth. He looked so innocent, so pure. You realized that he was not at fault. He himself was struggling with his life. You walked up to him and gestured him with your hand to come down. He pouted dramatically and got down the bed. He tiptoed to you with a proud smile which made you chuckle. You gently ruffled his hair. He smiled more brightly and then let out a big yawn. "Hey, beautiful princess, I am sleepy and tired too. Will you help me sleep?" Your cheeks warmed at that word, princess. You quickly looked away, stepping back, but nodded. "Yes, I will help you. Stay right there," you said, and bending down, you opened the zipper of your suitcase and started to search for a gown. He nodded obediently as he sat on the edge of the bed, watching you with a warm smile. As you found the gown, you zipped up the suitcase and walked towards the small dressing room, and Jungkook called you from behind. "Hey, princess." You turned around, he giggled and said, "Come soon." You glared at him. He laughed that same innocent laugh that somehow didn't feel entirely childish. You rushed inside the bathroom with your cheeks heated up. When you came back a few minutes later, the room was quiet. Jungkook was laying on his side and his eyes were closed. You stood there for a while and just watched him. His lips were curved into a faint smile and his hair was falling slightly over his forehead. Ah, poor him, he doesn't even know. Letting out a sigh, you wiped the tears around your cheeks and laid on the bed. You pulled the blanket on him and turning off the lamp, you lay straight while staring at the ceiling. After some time, you turned to the other side to finally sleep. The next morning, you blinked awake, still half dreaming. The faint scent of lilies was drifting from the vase near the bed. Jungkook was still sleeping. His one arm was thrown lazily over the blanket. While his breathing was slow and calm, you smiled faintly and slipped quietly out of the bed. You put on a simple red dress and padded down the marble stair. Reaching the kitchen, you tied your hair back and started preparing breakfast. The maids tried to help you, but you denied as you were used to do the house chores by yourself. While you were reaching for the jam, you felt a sudden pain. Your heart jumped, you spun around startled. Boo! He said, laughing at your expression. You pressed a hand to your chest. Aish, you scared me. He laughed, sliding on the counter stool. Mission complete. You shook your head, hiding a smile. You plated the pancakes neatly and placed them before him. Here, eat before it gets cold. He shook his head. No, I won't eat them. And why so? Unless you feed me. He said with a playful pout. You gave him a flat look, then sighed. You picked up the fork and making the bite, you put it near his mouth. You are so greasy, you said, feeding him. He laughed. I am your butter and you are my bread. Ish, eat silently like a good boy. He nodded his head with a grin. You sighed, making another bite for him. A month later, days turned into weeks and the mansion no longer felt like a cage. You learned how Jungkook liked his tea, how he hated morning, so he would hum quietly whenever he was focused. Right now, you were standing in the bedroom while cleaning his wardrobe. You were done with the basic house chores, so you decided to tidy his messy wardrobe. You were humming softly, folding his shirts when something thin slipped from between the fabric and fluttered to the floor. You frowned, it looked like a photograph. You bent to pick it up, brushing off the dust, and the image made your breath hitch. It was old, edges curled, color faded, but you knew that face. Two children were standing near a playground laughing. One of them was you, the other. This can't be, you whispered. What this picture is doing in his wardrobe? Your heart raced as memories rushed back. The summer at your grandma's village, the boy who used to share tangerines with you, the one who promised to protect you forever. You were trying to understand everything when suddenly the door creaked open behind you and Jungkook entered. Why, Anya, look how beautiful I draw your pic, he said cheerfully, but the moment he looked out, his eyes landed on the photograph in your hand, he froze. The colors drained from his face. You raised your head up to see him through your teary eyes. He gulped slowly and leaned closer. Why do you have this photo in your wardrobe, Jungkook? Is that boy you? Jungkook sighed and looked down. You walked towards him. Jungkook, tell me. I need answer. What this photo is doing in your wardrobe? Were you acting all the time? Why? He paused and looked up at your shocked face. I didn't want you to find out like this. You frowned. Find out what? Jungkook, please don't replay anymore. I want to know the truth. Why you did all that? You had went to abroad with your parents, then why did you come back? Jungkook exhaled shakily and looking into your eyes, he said, I remember you, and I never forget. When I came back from abroad, I searched for you everywhere. Then I learned what you had been through, your father's death, your stepmother planned. I heard she was looking for a rich man. She didn't want you to live a happy life. You blinked slowly, piercing the truth together. So you, Jungkook nodded his head. Yes, I pretended. I acted like a childish guy so they would agree. It was the only way I could reach you. I wanted to protect you before anyone else could hurt you, Ryan. Trust me. So all the time you were just pretending? His eyes became watery when he spoke again. I am sorry, Ryan. I wanted to tell you the truth, but I got afraid if you know the truth, you might walk away, and I didn't want to lose you again. Your voice cracked. You are such a fool. You didn't need to hide. I already remembered you. I could never forget you. He looked up with his eyes glistening. So you remember too? How could I forget you? You were my best friend, my protector, and when your father took you abroad, I cried a lot. I thought that I will forget you with the passage of time, but those memories became more strong and clear to me. I miss you every day, every night. Jungkook smiled through the tears. You stepped forward, placing the photograph in his hand. His heartbeat raced. For a while, neither of you spoke. Then he whispered, I'm not a kid, I am a man. After a month, you were standing in the kitchen stirring the soup when suddenly you felt a pair of hands. You gasped while your cheeks flushed. Jungkook frowned. What happened, princess? You didn't say anything, just kept looking down, seeing you like that. His heart arced. What's the matter, princess? Tell me, please don't scare me like this. You looked at him with your big innocent eyes and said, I'm scared. Scared of what, princess? You sighed and said, I. You paused, making him more anxious. You, come on, princess, tell me. Letting out a deep sigh, you finally blurted out, I am fine. Jungkook stood frozen for a moment and then slowly he blinked. You got scared that he didn't like the news. You sat pouted, but then a low gasp left your mouth. I am so happy. Finally, I am becoming a pa. Yay! He screamed excitedly. You giggled and looked at him. So, are you happy? He looked at you and squealed. Happy? I am on cloud nine. I want to tell everyone that I am becoming a pa. And with that, you both began debating.